It was a hot and humid day in the slums of Badagry. The sun beat down on the dusty streets, while the smell of poverty and desperation lingered in the air. Among the many struggling families in Badagry lived a young girl named Shalewa. Shalewa was a beautiful girl with dark skin, bright eyes, and a contagious smile. But behind her radiant appearance, she carried the weight of her family's poverty on her shoulders. Her parents worked tirelessly every day as a cleaner at schools, just to put food on the table. Aside from delay from their employers, the money was never enough to feed the family. Therefore, Shalewa, being the first child, had to support the family at age 6 by hawking seasonal fruits after school. Determined to improve their harsh reality, she made sure to sell everything on her tray before returning home, with optimism that one day Lady Luck would shine on her family, changing their difficult reality to a better one. Little did she know her dream would become a nightmare. One sunny day, a flamboyant philanthropist visited the slums of Badagry for a yearly charity trip. As she shared food with the people of Badagry who lined up in front of her van, she couldn't help but watch with keen interest. Shalewa, with a bright smile on her face, balanced a tray of bananas on her head as she walked around the neighborhood. Shalewa was excited when the lady purchased every banana on her tray, tipping more than the cost.
Don't worry. Use the change for your transport fare when you come to see me.
Shalewa has never seen so much money at once. She pondered on the words of the flamboyant philanthropist, whilst sharing the news with her parents and siblings.
For Miss Bankole to take interest in you, that means our life is about to change.
Her mother spoke with joy, dancing and celebrating.
Auntie Shalewa, do you know Auntie Amaka who went with her last year? Visited home in December with a brand new car. Our brother in my class said they were moving to Victoria Island before they packed.
Shalewa's younger sister voiced.
I don't know why she has asked me to come see her at our office, but I pray it is going to be good news. Let's not count our chickens before they are hatched.
Shalewa snaps her family back to reality.
It will be good news. This 30,000 naira she paid for bananas worth 1,500 naira is enough proof.
Her father finally speaks before turning on his radio. On the next morning, Shalewa navigates her way to Miss Bankole's office, a boutique situated in the highbrow area of the city. She was amazed by the fashion house interior. A sales girl served Shalewa a delicious meal of jollof rice and grilled chicken with a cold drink. Shalewa, who has never had a whole chicken thigh before, dug in hungrily. After what seemed like a very long wait, around 4 hours, Miss Bankole finally arrived.
How would you like to work in one of my bars in Abuja as a bartender? You will earn more money than I gave you yesterday. Your clothing, feeding, and accommodation will be taken care of. That is, if you agree.
Shalewa's family could not hide their joy and excitement when she returned from a meeting with Miss Bankole.
Hey, thank God. Finally, God has decided to lift us from the pit of poverty. Hey!
Yes, so Mama. She even said if I impress her with my work, she may send me to Europe to manage one of her businesses there. Let me get my bags ready. I have to meet with her tonight, and if things go well, I can travel on the first bus to Abuja to begin work immediately.
Shalewa grabs an empty bucket to go fetch some water with, leaving her family to rejoice and celebrate the new dawn of change. Shalewa arrived in the hilly terrain of Abuja. Miss Bankole has instructed her to call a manager who goes by the name Spiky Black. She wondered what kind of person would have a name like Spiky Black. She quickly dismissed the thought, knowing that some people prefer nicknames to their real names. A tall, dark-skinned man with a shaved head approached Shalewa in the park. He was at least 6 feet tall and had a cold voice.
You must be Shalewa. I am Spiky. Follow me.
Shalewa struggled to keep up with Spiky, who was walking quickly. When she saw Spiky hail a taxi, she was happy and relieved that their long walk was finally over. They reached a duplex. Several women of different sizes lived there, and they seemed nervous when they saw Spiky. Spiky called out,
Pepe! Pepe!
A large dark-skinned lady came out.
Here is a new girl. Get her ready for tonight.
Spiky left without saying anything else to the women. Shalewa was shocked by what Pepe told her. It seemed like Pepe was asking her to act as a prostitute at the bar. Any man who came up to her would pay for her services, and she would have to give the money to Spikey.
No. Miss Bankole told me I was here to work as a bartender for her, under her manager Spikey Black.
Pepe and the other girls, scantily clad in skimpy outfits, burst into laughter.
Shay, you mean Miss Bankole, the fake philanthropist? She's so due to Spikey Black. You're not working for Miss Bankole. You are working for Spikey now.
Pepe points at a light-skinned girl, maybe 5 feet 3 inches tall.
You see her? She and her friends have the same story. Miss Bankole promised them jobs in Europe, but they needed to meet with an agent for visa processing. They have been waiting here 8 months for a visa that does not exist.
Pepe explained.
If you value yourself, get dressed quickly. Spikey and his men will soon be here, and they won't be gentle at all. We're already running late.
Tears streamed down Shalewa's cheeks as the truth of Miss Bankole's betrayal dawned on her. Every evening was a nightmare for Shalewa. Knowing she had to submit, she felt her freedom stolen. She watched in horror as some girls who shot paid Spikey Black were stripped naked and whipped repeatedly until their skin broke. Shalewa prayed this was a terrible dream, that she would wake up back in the tiny one-room apartment she shared with her family. But each day shattered that hope with its harsh reality. Weekends brought a repeat of the betrayal. More new girls arrived, confused and vulnerable. Miss Bankole had tricked them with the same lies. Some girls resigned themselves to their fate, while others cried themselves to sleep each night, heartbroken by the deception. 4 months had passed, and Shalewa had tried everything to escape the dungeon she was trapped in. Running away was impossible. Spikey Black had security cameras monitoring the girls' every move. Shalewa felt trapped and increasingly moody. Then, a client named Dele arrived for his evening massage.
You look so unhappy, Shalewa. What's wrong? You know you can't trust me.
Dele said, concerned about her gloomy demeanor.
I'm sorry. I don't want to burden you with my problems. But I'm just tired of living like this. I can't take it anymore.
Tears welled up in her eyes and she broke down. Dele was completely puzzled.
What do you mean by living like this? Did you not agree to this lifestyle? No, I never did. I I was promised a job as a bartender in a bar. Not as Weren't you the one who contacted Spikey for help?
Shalewa wiped her tears and began to explain her meeting with Miss Bankole. Dele listened silently for a few minutes.
Can you describe this Miss Bankole in more detail?
Dele pulled out his cell phone, scrolled through it and settled on a picture.
Is this Miss Bankole you were talking about?
Shalewa nodded.
Thank you, Shalewa. You've made my job much easier. I will definitely see you tomorrow.
Dele paid Shalewa an hourly fee before leaving. Dele, irregular at the bar for months before Shalewa arrived, had a rule: never see the same girl twice. But when Spikey Black introduced the new girls with Shalewa walking in with her sparkling eyes, beautiful dark skin and bright smile, he decided to be her first customer, and eventually he broke his golden rule. Dele initially thought Shalewa would be like the others. Whenever he tried to make conversation with them, they'd swear at him or tell him to focus on what he paid for. They only cared about money and seemed to enjoy their work. Unlike Shalewa, she was intelligent and witty, able to hold conversations on any topic. Dele became curious. Dele in reality was an undercover detective working for a federal agency against human trafficking. It had rumors about the bar and decided to investigate by posing as a client. The rumors were true. Every 2 weeks, he noticed new girls arriving. He asked Spikey Black where they came from.
They're here for the same reasons as the others. They begged me because they know how well client treats the girls at my bars. So I brought them here. It's safer for them to work here than to be used somewhere else, you know. They're like family to me.
Dele was skeptical about his response, but decided not to probe any further. He arrived his home, picked up his phone, and dialed the number.
We were wrong about Miss Bankole. She's not based in Abuja, she is in Lagos acting as a philanthropist. I met a girl she trafficked using lies. I am certain we can get more girls to testify against her in court this time. The politicians protecting her won't be able to do anything when the victims speak out.
Understood, sir. I will reopen a case and begin prosecution.
The receiver drops the call. Dele kept his promise and visited Shalowa at the bar often, making sure she didn't meet any other clients besides him. Spiky Black, the owner of the bar, saw this as a chance to raise Shalowa's hourly rates. He thought Dele was in love with her. Dele didn't mind paying the extra fees, until one evening, a group of police officers raided the bar, arresting him and the girls. While Miss Bankole was arrested, a few days later, waiting for the court's decision, her lawyers advised her to plead guilty because the evidence against her was strong. Her ally Spiker Black had confessed to the crime in exchange for a lighter sentence. Even her political allies could not help because the case was too complicated. An NGO helped the girls involved by providing rehabilitation and scholarships. 7 years later, Shalowa stood on the streets of Badagry. She looked around, taking in the familiar sights that had shaped her journey to becoming a certified nurse. Her mother emerged from the car, warmly greeting their old neighbors. She excitedly announced their daughter's wedding, which was happening that very weekend. As she chatted, her mother handed out wedding invitations along with gifts of food and clothing for the celebration. The neighbors were amazed by the transformation. They could hardly believe that the once strongly family, who once barely had enough to eat and wore worn-out clothes, now had enough to share and looked prosperous.